Your phone goes off at 4 a.m., and you already know what it says. You've been watching the numbers for 6 weeks, quietly, carefully, sharing them only with 3 people in the building, and hoping the model was wrong. It wasn't. Inflation has just printed at 40%. Not 4%, not 14%. 40. The bread that cost $1 last year now costs $1.40. Rent that was manageable in January is already impossible by August. And somewhere 300 miles away, a retired schoolteacher opens her bank statement and realizes her pension now buys half of what it did 2 years ago. She saved, she planned, she did everything right, and the money still failed her. You didn't cause this alone, but you're the one sitting in this chair, and that chair comes with a rule nobody mentions when they hand it to you. The tools available to fix this will create their own damage. Welcome to the room where there are no good options, only less bad ones. To understand what 40% inflation really means, you have to understand what inflation actually is, and it's not just prices going up, it's purchasing power going down. That distinction sounds academic until you feel it, until you're a small business owner who you can't price a contract 3 months out, or a young couple who saved for years for a down payment only to find the house now costs 40% more. At 40%, something deeper than prices breaks. Trust, the invisible agreement holding every functioning economy together, the belief that money in your pocket will be worth roughly the same tomorrow as it is today, starts to collapse. When that breaks, people stop saving and start spending immediately because holding cash becomes a loss. Businesses stop planning. The forward-looking machinery of the economy begins to seize. Inflation at this level isn't just expensive, it's destabilizing. It has ended governments, elected ones. So you sit down, open the file, and reach for the one tool you have: interest rates. You raise them aggressively to make borrowing expensive, slow spending, reduce demand, and eventually bring prices back under control. Clean, logical, almost elegant on paper. But raising rates doesn't only slow inflation, it slows everything. Businesses stop expanding, hiring freezes, mortgage markets tighten within weeks. Families who were barely affording homes can no longer refinance. Unemployment rises. And soon, the same. Headlines that screamed about inflation begin screaming about job losses and a government breaking the economy in the process. You didn't just fight inflation, you triggered a recession deliberately, and that part rarely makes it into the press release, because if you move too cautiously, raising rates slowly, protecting jobs, inflation embeds itself. Workers demand higher wages to keep up with prices. Businesses raise prices to cover wages. Wages rise again, prices follow. A wage-price spiral forms, and historically the only way out requires pain no elected government wants attached to its name. Paul Volcker understood this. In the early 1980s, he broke a similar spiral by raising rates to nearly 20%. The United States fell into a deep recession. Unemployment surged to levels not seen since the Great Depression. Farmers drove tractors to Washington in protest. He was one of the most hated men in the country for years, but it worked. Inflation broke, and the economy eventually recovered. He became one of the most respected central bankers in modern history. Still, the workers who lost jobs during that period, construction workers, auto workers, small business owners, many never fully recovered. The irony is almost too sharp to state plainly. The central bank exists to create stability, yet the only way to restore stability at this level of inflation is to deliberately introduce instability somewhere else. You are not solving the problem, you are choosing which damage you can live with. Inflation destroys savings. Recessions destroy jobs. One path wipes out the retired teacher. The other wipes out the factory worker. Different people, different losses, same decision. The announcement comes in 72 hours. The number is already decided. You made the call an hour ago. You just haven't said it out loud yet. You close the laptop. Outside, the city is still dark. Somewhere, the schoolteacher is probably already awake, recalculating something she should never have to calculate at her age. You followed the data. You made the defensible choice. But the question that remains, long after the press conference and the headlines, is simple and unresolved. Was the model built to protect the economy, or the people inside it? And are those even the same thing?